Change is in the air. When I look at 2024, in one way, I see it in two sections. I see 2024 before May 25th and after May 25th. And that is because Jupiter is changing signs on May 25th. This is a demarcation. This is a line maybe in the sand. I also see eclipse seasons as pivotal moments of this year. But all that to say, things are going to look different and feel different and definitely sound different after May 25th. So let's look at the week in detail, shall we? Also, welcome. This is the Astrology of the Week Ahead podcast. I'm your host, Chani Nicholas. In this episode, we are talking about the week of May 20th. We are talking about the quality of time always on this podcast. If you want to know how any of this rolls out for you personally, please check your yearly reading and also your weekly reading on the Chani app, because it will be much more specific to your life and also how to work with it, how to work with these big transits. Okay. First things first, Monday, we move into Gemini season. So the sun is shifting focus, which will definitely disperse a lot of information. The sun in Gemini is always a time of shift. There's not a lot that you can hold on to. We move from the steady solidness of Taurus into a kind of windstorm of info and intel and flirting and effervescent energy and everything, everywhere, all at once. It's a mutable sign. That's what mutable signs do. They disperse energy. And because it's an air sign that's mutable, it disperses information. And it's even harder to kind of get a hold of because it's air. You can't hold air. And because it's mutable air, it's like really drafty sometimes. So on Monday, Gemini season begins. We know that there's an emphasis now on communication and what it is we are listening to, talking about, hearing. On Wednesday, the sun makes a trine to Pluto that's also in another air sign. That's how trines happen. They're in the same element. So Wednesday offers us some depth and assistance and some really good information or really good conversations. And there's a nice kind of effect that happens into something that occurs the next day. On the 23rd, 23rd is a big day for 2024. Venus and Jupiter come together in a conjunction. And then there's a full moon in Sagittarius that is sextile Pluto as the sun is making that trine to Pluto. And then Venus moves into Gemini. It's a flurry of activity, but I want to break it down because the 23rd is a really important moment. Because Venus and Jupiter are making a conjunction, I've been talking about this for weeks, I've been hyping it up. It doesn't mean that everything's going to go well. It means that it's a really good time for you to plant a seed for something that you want to become eventually prosperous and abundant and sweet and loving, and something that will eventually help to create more connection and therefore more stability in your life. That's what the 23rd is really good for. And the interesting thing is the full moon happens while Venus and Jupiter are still together. And it's interesting because the full moon is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is sitting in Venus's sign with Venus. And so that bodes really well for this full moon. Full moon can't see that configuration. So there's some kind of like the goodness is a little bit hiding, or it's a little bit obscured, or we want to think about the seeds that we're planting. We're doing so undercover, or we're not going to expect a lot of glory from this day. It's a full moon day. Sometimes full moons are hard no matter what the astrology is. It's just like a maximal day, right? We went like, I wish you could be a little bit more minimal, but not. Although a Venus-Jupiter signature is something that looks pleasure-filled and fun and sweet and lovely and relaxing, I don't know. It's still going to be also a full moon on that same day. So, and it's a full moon in Sag, which is always like galloping forward at a very intense clip. It's fast. It's fire. So there's a mix of things going on. What I want us to think about is on the 23rd, what seeds can we plant? Again, Not in a big showy way necessarily, although if you want to do an announcement, go for it. But I just want us to think about long-term, sustainable, this is something I can work towards. This is something I don't need immediate results from. This is a seed of sweetness, of love, of pleasure, of joy, of goodness in my life. We all need to be planting seeds of goodness in our life. It's our intention. It's our labor. It's our work. It's our life that we are creating a little at a time. And this is astrology that says, do it now, create a little bit now, and it will grow into something really beautiful. So the part of your chart that contains Taurus is getting this blessing. And if you listen to your reading for this week, or if you read your Venus or Jupiter horoscopes in the Chani app or chani.com, it'll give you instructions in a kind of symbolic way, in a metaphorical way, about where in your life to plant this seed. I mean, you can do it anywhere in your life, but if you want to be kind of more astrologically precise with it, listen to your reading, read your horoscope, see what's going on in the part of your chart that contains Taurus and your part of your life that corresponds with that. Then there's the full moon. I mean, I'm not mad at it, right? Because this is such a good signature. And it's definitely saying there is some goodness tucked away here for us to take part in. There is sweetness, there is abundance, there is beauty here. It's also like a beauty in the more discreet places in our life. It's a really good time to seek out beauty and pleasure and the kinds of joy that we've got to make a concerted effort to take part in. It's not necessarily something that's like big and obvious in our face. The full moon is a little big and obvious and in our face because it's a full moon in Sag. But Sag is very freedom loving. So the part of your chart that contains Sag is having an apex moment. And whatever part of your life corresponds to that part of your chart, you're going to feel this kind of bigness, this moment of like, oh, that's what's going on. This full moon is making a whole sign. So it's not exact, but it is a whole sign square to Saturn and Neptune, but I'm really more concerned with Saturn. So there might also be, especially in the coming days after it, like Thursday, Friday, there's going to be a clarification that also happens with this full moon. So full moon in Sag. If you feel good on it, get adventurous with it. Venus and Jupiter are making a conjunction. I mean, it's just a really great time to tell people you love them. Also, I want to note that Venus and Jupiter are making a sextile to Neptune as they make this conjunction, which is extra dreamy and really helpful for connections. And it's something that erodes boundaries. And so there's almost something really ideal that it's occurring here right now. And the here is, in our lives, hopefully. So again, whatever seeds you're planting, make sure that you have the energy to be with them in a very enduring way, that you're not expecting things to just happen like that, and that you are thinking about the seeds that you're planting in the kind of ultimate way. Like it's about aiming for the moon, land amongst the stars, however that goes. It's a big dream. It's a big vision for big love and big joy and big beauty and big sweetness and all of that. So it's just a really good day to seed any of that. Then also on that day, Venus changes signs and moves into Gemini. So we're starting now to get a emphasis in Gemini, which again is about communication. It's about both sides. It's about the third way, right? Gemini is the twins. It's the left side, right side, and the middle path. It is about both sides. You could say it's about binaries, but actually when we stretch our mind and our awareness and ourselves around both ends of the spectrum, we get a totality. And so it is actually about much more than a binary, right? It's about the fullness of it. It's about, again, existing in the third space. It's not black, it's not white, it's both, and it's all of it. So we're moving into that terrain. Then on the 25th, Venus makes a trine to Pluto, which is very empowering for our relationships. It's really dare I say it, healing, helpful. It could be something that helps us to connect with the resources that we need and make some big strides in an easeful kind of way in regards to depth and intimacy in our life. And then Jupiter enters Gemini, which is huge. It's going to be there for a year. It means the part of your chart that contains Gemini is going to get this big Jupiter boost. I say big with an asterisk because Jupiter is in its exile in Gemini, meaning it doesn't function in the way that it is meant to, quote unquote. It functions in the opposite way. So if Jupiter is about faith and abundance and the truth, then if we do that in a way that is antithetical, or if we do that in a way that is contrary, then what Jupiter and Gemini is really good at is amassing a million facts and a lot of data, but not necessarily being amazing at synthesizing it into one central point that we could aim our arrow at and go towards. So the Jupiter in Gemini of it all is going to scatter a lot of information, and it's going to entice us to be scattered in a lot of different directions. And we're not going to do that. Jupiter is also going to be squaring Saturn this whole time. And so we're going to have to make some very important choices. And they're going to be hard. They're going to be hard choices to make. But we are going to make them, and we're going to go through this together. I don't know what the choices that we're going to make are going to have to be yet. I have no idea. We got to live it out together. But I just want us to keep this thing in mind. Our attention is everything. And tech knows that, and everybody knows that. That is one of the greatest resources. I want us to think about where we are directing our attention and being very intentional about what we communicate and how we're trying to move folks in the direction that we think is the best, how to do kind of small sprints. Like, okay, let's gather everybody, do a thing, and then drop it. Because things in Gemini don't have long attention spans. I'm not saying people with placements in Gemini, although maybe. I'm saying when there's this amassment, especially with Jupiter and Gemini, attention is a hard thing to gather and to keep. So we're going to have to be moving in kind of sprints. That's how I see this astrology rolling out. Okay. Also, for the Geminis in the crowd, for the part of your chart that contains Gemini, this is the only way Jupiter can transit it. So this is still amazing. Gemini rising folks, huge growth spurt on the way. Please listen to your year ahead reading. Gemini sun folks, Gemini Venus, Gemini moon folks, Gemini any placement folks, this is a big boost that you're going to get. So look at the Chani app, look at the transit section, and see when that Jupiter transit is coming for you. Keep checking it to see when it is occurring. Hey, y'all, thank you so much for leaving us reviews in the App Store. We read them, we love them, we appreciate them. I wanted to leave you with this one called, "Hi, I'm Claire, and I am a Chani evangelist." This app has been such a happy addition to my life. I find myself telling everyone I meet, beyond astrology, download this app simply for the meditations and affirmations. I find myself turning to the library of guided meditations for grounding, focus, sleep, and creativity. The personal readings are thought-provoking and are a great place to get to know yourself. As far as astrological readings, Chani and her team are simply good at their job. I find that astrology is often confined to the is it real or not conversation, which to me is missing the point entirely. Downloading this app has given me a tool to better understand myself and the world around me, and I hope it does the same for you. P.S. Thank you, Chani and team, for making such a great resource. It is the MVP tool in my Mentee Bee toolkit, in addition to my daily source of inspiration and joy. All right, next week, Jupiter is going to make a trine to Pluto. New kind of signature. We've not had Pluto in Aquarius, and we've not had Jupiter in Gemini for a long time, and certainly in our lifetime, they have not met in this cute little formation. So we're going to make the most of it. This is a boost and a bonus that we will talk about here next week. Sending you lots and lots and lots of love, many, many blessings. I hope this Venus-Jupiter conjunction is going to seed so many future hangouts and so much future cuteness and abundance. And again, blessings for all that we share freely with each other. Bye for now.